to Be Bold and Explore. My name is Noluthando Mhlanga, and today I will be talking about my au pairing experience, how it started, when it started, why it started, and why I carried on for as long as I did. So, as we all know, I am South African, born and raised, and I'm 29 years old. And I started my opera journey when I was 22. In 2014, that's when the whole thing of deciding to be an au pair began. I was wondering, like, I was stuck in life. I did not know what to do. I did not want to work in the field that of what I studied in. I mean, yes, I graduated in college. I had a BTech in information system engineering. I could have made a lot of money, so people tell me. But I did not want to work in that field because I felt like I was forced into it. So then I decided to relax, and a friend of mine that I was talking to online at the time suggested au pairing. At first, I was like a little bit hesitant, like everyone would be. I mean, going to a different country, there's a lot of stories about that. So, what I needed to do was to do my research. So, I began to do research on different agencies. There was different jobs online saying you could be an au pair, but that's very dangerous. So I highly recommend everyone to go through an agency when it comes to au pairing because it's much more safer, since there's like background checks, whether it's from for you or the family. Whereas when it's like something just private, there's not it's not legit, it's usually not legit, it's not real, it's fake, it's a scam, and you can get in debt or in trouble. So yes, what I did, I started doing researches on different agencies, and I found that one of the biggest agency was Cultural Care. Here it is. And I found out this was, at the time I thought, oh, Cultural Care, the best agency because it's the biggest, everyone knows it, everyone's talking about it. And so I started my application online, and I filled in what was needed, my name, my information, my address. And then I got a call from one of the agents there telling me that I should attend orientation meeting, which was in Johannesburg, which is closer to me, I guess. There are different offices around the country and other countries as well. Depending on where you live, there's gonna be a very close office around you. So then I went there, and the orientation was about the program, how it works, what to expect. um, do they talk about everything? Not really, they just talk about their expectations, I would say. But there's a lot to au pairing than what they mention in the program itself. But yes, we'll talk about that later. And then after the orientation, there's an interview. They ask you a few questions about yourself and about why you want to be an au pair and all that. And then they'll tell you if you are good enough to enter the au pair or not, the program or not. But usually everyone is. So then after that, you get to create your profile, your full profile that will be seen by families. In that profile, you talk about yourself, your experiences, but I suggest not to talk too much about yourself, but more about your experiences, I would say. But obviously, talk about your hobbies, what you like doing, um, what you've done when it comes to your kids, or whatever you like, as like in general. And then talk about your ambitions, your goals, and yeah. And then there's posting pictures. It's highly recommended that you post pictures where you are with working with kids and taking care of kids and just doing what you love, whether it's volunteering, music, arts, so something that will attract families to you. Yeah. And then there's also a video, an introduction video where you talk to the family. It's almost like a letter to the family. You talk about a little bit about yourself as well before they can interview you, and you tell them why you want to be an au pair, what do you expect, your expectations when it comes to being an au pair. And to tell the truth, don't expect too much when it comes to it. So yes, you should definitely tell them what you're expecting, but don't tell them the whole shebang unless it's on the interview. Then you can tell, like, just start talking about what do you want and all that. So for me personally, it took months for me to find a family, and that was not even through the agency itself. Some people are luckier than others. Some people can find a family within a week of applying, and some people can find a family within a year of applying. So I would say, if you're gonna apply to be an au pair, be patient. Be very patient. Otherwise, you're gonna go crazy and think that, oh my gosh, no one wants me. So don't worry. It's not that they don't want you. It's more about, like, I don't know. I don't know really. So what happened with me is that I had to post on one of the Facebook groups, which I highly suggest. Is that when you join the au pair agency, go on Facebook, and there's plenty of groups that you can apply, that you can join, for families that are looking for au pairs and au pairs that are looking for families. I posted on there, and then one of the girls in the group sent me a message saying that it was a family in her neighborhood looking for someone to be their au pair. And I told them, well, pass them my way. And she did. And so I talked to the family, and I liked them. They liked me. We connected very well. I went through their profile, and everything they said went with what I believed in. So it made my life easier. So in a way, when I read that. But remember, what you read doesn't mean that is what you're gonna be getting. So be very open-minded. And yeah, I mean, don't I'm not saying you should, like, go with whatever, but still just be very vigilant when it comes to, especially, interviews with the family. So how the interview goes is that the family will ask you a few questions and about your experience, about yourself, and then you will have to also come up with questions about, like, the kids. For example, I asked the family, so what are the kids' favorite food? What do you expect? Like, what activities are expected? What is expected from me as a nanny? Like, in general, like, do they expect me to cook for the kids, or you know, go out for long walks and all that? Like, one of their questions I asked them is that one of their kids was autistic, so he had more screen time than the younger one, obviously. So my thing was, can I give him less screen time than they give them currently, so that he doesn't get too used to the TV and stuff like that? And then they were like, sure, if he doesn't cry or if fussy, sure, because they always just put him in front of the TV every time he cries. And so I just limited the screen time when I got there, and it worked out for me. But it didn't work out for the next au pair. So yeah, things work out differently as people, obviously. But yeah. And then the next process was to prepare for my visa. So once you get a match with the family, the agency will send you some documents, and then you have to go online and apply for a visa interview. With a visa interview, you require a passport picture, a passport, and then you go online, put in your information. you just follow the instructions, and it's very straightforward. It's like literally filling in a normal form. So then you choose a date of, like, it depends on when your family needs you, but it's required that you choose the earliest date as possible. Then when the date comes, you go there, do your interview, which is very easy. They ask you a few questions like, where are you going, who are you going to, do you know the people, why are you going there, just say. And then the most given answer for that is that you're an exchange student and you're going to a certain family. They give you, like, the agency will give you a form with their address. It's called a DS form, and then you just give, like, you hand it to them so they can see the information they need to see, and then yeah, they will accept you or decline, but it's mostly accepted. And then after that, it is time for traveling. Traveling from any country to USA or any other country in general as an au pair should be easy, because you do not need to pack that much. My thing is that I usually tell people, pack a balanced clothing, like have a little bit of, like, at least 5 winter outfits, 5 summer outfits, and then a few mixed up outfits in between, because you're gonna get here and you're gonna do a lot of shopping whether you like it or not. You just get attracted to shopping. It's easier than it is back at home. You can do it online, and I mean, online shopping is the devil, if I if I have to say. I know it because I'm almost at 100 dresses, if not more. But anyway, past that. Um, so when it's time to travel, you get to the US, and then there's different agencies with different rules or, like, things to do, like with cultural care, and I think with au pair care, you have to go to to a training school. You do find other agencies where it's not required for you to go to a training school. A training school is like, it's almost like you go to like a college or like a hotel, and then during the first week of being in USA, they teach you a little bit about looking after the kids, and then doing some CPR and first aid, the more like important stuff, I would say. And after the first week of training school, you get picked up by your host family from the closest drop off they can get. Some people have to fly to wherever the place is, or some people are driven to the place. For example, I was dropped off at a mall, and then my host family was waiting for me there. I got there, and then usually, depending on what kind of host family it is, some host families are just mean, and then they'll just literally make you work that first week you get there. It's mostly when you get there, they show you around and drive you around. If you're gonna drive kids, they'll test your driving skills. If you're not that good at driving, then you'll have to go for lessons. And but then you get some what you call it, host families that will, like, say, no, I can't have you as an au pair because you cannot drive. That's why you have to be honest on your profile. If you don't know how to drive, be honest. If you know how to drive, be honest. Like, if you're a comfortable driver, be honest. Because, like, changing from left to right is easy. It's like you adjust very quick. I adjusted immediately when I started driving on this side of the road. I was like, oh, this is easy, because another thing is that you're driving an automatic car. From a manual driver, it was easy to adjust to automatic. But if it was the other way around, then maybe it would have been very difficult. So then, with my au pair experience, I feel like I had the best experience I could have ever asked for. The family was honest with everything they said. Like everything they said on their profile was real. What you saw on the profile is what I got. They were very down to earth. They let me do what I had to do with the kids. They gave me the freedom to be a nanny instead of like jumping in every minute they get. But they was still involved with their kids. Of course, you do get sometimes families that are kind of like you have to do everything, and then they'll only come in when it is good for them. So I usually say run away from those kind of people because it seems like they don't care much about their kids. So yeah. But if you love the kids, sure, stay. I can't really judge you for that. And if the kids love you, same. So then I stayed with the family for 2 years, and with cultural care, every month you go to what they call au pair meeting. Yeah, I was not a fan of them. I did not like them at all, but I had to do it because apparently this compulsory that you go so that you complete your program. So yeah, I did that, and it was not fun. Sometimes maybe a little fun, like some places you go to, like baseball games. It was fun going to a baseball game. I loved it. And then sometimes just going to a house and meeting up with everyone, it get depressing, especially if you're not close to any of the people around you. Yeah. And then I left in 2017, and when I left, I at that moment I was with a different agency that would have taken me to Canada. The agency's name is
Taking abroad.
Travel Abroad, right there. And Travel Abroad gives you the opportunity to travel to different countries to be an au pair or a nanny. With Canada, I was going to be a nanny getting paid an hourly rate. But it is very, very difficult getting into Canada. It's not as easy as getting into USA is not easy, but Canada is worse. I was lucky to get a match with a family there, and then I left thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to Canada now after USA. So I went home and I did my paperwork, went for my Canada visa interview, and then I got it. It was fun, good, and quick until the family changed their minds and said they did not need a nanny anymore. And that kind of messed up my plans. You might be asking, well, you could have still went since you already had the visa and all, but I couldn't, cause firstly they were gonna pay for the tickets to go there. I mean, sure, I would have afforded it at the time because I had savings from the au pair year, but there's also a form that's filled by the family that you go to when you go to Canada to be a nanny, saying that you're gonna live with them. So I had a form with that family, but if I were to go to it was Vancouver. If I was gonna go to Vancouver to and then just like randomly go there, I wouldn't have had a place to stay there. So it would have been very risky and just not worth it, I think. Yeah, sure, maybe I would have found another job when I got there, but still don't think it would have been worth it. I did find another family at the time, but uh they kind of got on the lazy side of doing the whole process of the paperwork. So I decided, you know what, never mind, let's move on. So I went back to the agency since I already paid for Canada. I still had the credits to go somewhere else. And then they suggested Sweden. And so I fixed up my profile for Sweden, and I started talking to a lady from this agency in Sweden. And this is the name of the agency, Scandinavia something something. Yes. I started talking to her, and she helped me find a family there. It was easier to find a family there, really, and quick. And after I found a family there, we spoke online, did the interview. They asked me a few questions, I asked them a few questions, and they, if they answer the way I expect them to answer, then it's a yes. But then if they give me kind of questionable answers, is a no. But they gave me good answers, so I matched with them, and then they liked me, I liked them. And that's when I had to fix my visa for Sweden. It There was no interview for that. It was mostly like just paperwork and going into the offices, filling in some fingerprints and stuff like that, and then you get your visa, and it's a card. Yes, so after doing all that, I just did the same thing as I did with going the first time to USA, and I packed up as little as possible. But this time, my little as possible was in two suitcases instead of one suitcase. So I went to Sweden, and the weather was coldish, but the scenery was very beautiful. The only issues I would say I had about Sweden is the people were kind of antisocial, depressing, and boring, and the place was very, very expensive. So I did not have fun there, unfortunately. Not so ever. Like as I said, everything was expensive. The only thing I would do out is go out to eat, and I don't think I even went to a bar there. But anyway, that's not about that. Would I recommend you to go to Sweden? I don't know. The money is bad. It's good if you're not doing anything else, like if you want to pass time while you wait. Like for me, it was waiting till my 2 years was up, because when you become an au pair in USA and go back home, you have to wait 2 years before you can apply again to come back to USA. So for me, going to Sweden was more about passing time, because I just did not feel like being home doing nothing. So yeah, so I went to Sweden, and was it fun? What it lasted? Maybe. Like I enjoyed a few parts of it. I did not like the how expensive it was and how the people just were in general, but the place was beautiful. If you love museums and old stuff, you can go there and you'll have fun. But I always tell people that that's a place for retirement. If you are retiring, oh, Sweden is the best place you can be. Yes, and then while I was in Sweden, I started looking to come back to USA. So I was gonna be an au pair again. Ah, how I love being an au pair. So yeah, I started looking through agencies. Obviously, I started with cultural care to see what I needed since I was in a different country. But my thing was I want to apply while I'm still here and find a family while I'm still here, so that when I go home, I can just go for my visa interview and then go to USA quick, without having to like do the whole process back at home. And yeah, cultural care did not allow me to do that. Instead, they were like, yeah, you have to be home so that you can come back for the orientation, even if you are a second time au pair. I was like, huh? How? Ganjani. So I decided to, okay, never mind, let's go to a different agency. So I applied with a different agency. The agency was so bad I forgot the name of it, but I'm sure I'll put it up on here. This agency right here, I applied with them, and then I found a family. Did I find the family through them? I don't even think I found a family through them. I found the family through Facebook again. The family was very nice. It was older kids. They just needed me to drive them around. But the only issue is that they needed me before I could make it there. So the annoying part about it is that they agreed to match with me. So me being me, I was like, okay, yay, they agreed to match with me. Let me match with them because they're so cool. I paid my fees, my matching fees with the agency, and then bada bing, bada boom, they changed their mind, saying you won't make it soon, like as soon enough here. We need someone who's gonna get here sooner than you can. And of course, I lost my money to the agency because once you pay the matching fee, it's non refundable. So instead of the agency helping me find a new family like they're supposed to, ha, nothing, quiet, nothing at all, no word from them. So I give that agency 0 stars because they were not helpful at all. What I did though was I updated my profile on aupair world. So this is aupair world. Aupair world is a website with different families with different agencies. So you as well as an au pair can go on there, create your profile, and then instead of just waiting for families to contact you, you can actually contact families and tell them about yourself. So what I did to get families' attention, I would just screenshot, not paste, what you call copy my introduction and just send it into their inbox. And then if they're interested, we'll talk. If they're not, sure, next one. So yes, what I did is that, and then I started talking to the family in South Carolina, which is where I currently am in. And they were nice. They were sweet. They were down to earth. And it turned out they were with a different agency than I was with. So I explained my situation of how I already paid up the other agency, so I don't know if I can change agencies. But then they liked me so much, they were like, nah, it's fine. You can talk to the agency and then see if they can, you know, kind of lower down your costs and whatnot. So that's what I did. I contacted their agency and then explained my situation. The lady there was so nice and very communicative and very, like, helpful. So she just explained everything to me and explained that the family liked me, so why not? If I can change to their agency, they'll make sure to lower my fees and whatnot. So that's what I did. I changed to agency, started my process, went back home. I didn't even finish my contract in Sweden because luckily the family there had to move to USA. I was not gonna go to USA with them because yeah, they were nice, but ugh. Yeah. Anyway, they were very nice, but I was not willing to move to the country with them. So that's that. I wanted some like younger kids. Yeah, that's what it is. Um, yes. So I went back home and I started my visa process. And with the agency, oh, sorry, I did not say the name of the agency, Expert Au Pair. Expert Au Pair. I do not know how much Expert Au Pair is because I um, I did not have to pay for the registration fees. So yeah, and then on top of that, usually after you get your visa approved, you pay the application fee. But praise God, they waived my fees. That was because of the situation I was in and because I was a second time au pair, like coming back to USA as an au pair. So I was an experienced au pair that I didn't need that much training or whatnot, and I could skip the training school. So yeah, that was a fun part about that. And so I got my visa approved, and it was so cool. It was easy peasy. They asked me, where are you going? Have you been to USA before? Which obviously was in my passport at the time, so they like looked around and was like, so where were you in USA before? You've done this before? Like, yes, I have. Where are you going now? Is it with the same family, or is it with a different family? And then when are you expecting to coming back, and how long is your contract and whatnot? So you just say 1 year. Yeah, like the agencies usually tell you some answers, some questions, so that you like prepared when you get there. But I would say don't be nervous. It's a very easy interview. It's not like a job interview or anything. So, but anyway, after that, I got approved and it was time to pack again. Luckily, I did not really unpack from Sweden because I was back in South Africa for like I want to say 2 months, from August to September, because I left South Africa on the 27th of September. And then I left on the 26th of September and then got here on the 27th of September. It was a 32-hour trip. Oh, yes, I do not miss those. It was a 32-hour trip, but it was worth it. Yes. So I got here and the family picked me up at the airport, since I did not have to go to like all the training schools and stuff like that. So I just came straight to South Carolina, Charleston, and it was blazing hot. And mind you, I was wearing a big jacket, thinking, you know what, I don't want to put this in my suitcase so it's not heavy, so I'm just gonna wear it. I got here, I was like, what on earth did I get myself into? Oh, I remember those days. Yeah. So then after that, I started like the family was so sweet. They took me to dinner, showed me around, and then the following day they showed me around the neighborhood with their golf cart, and it was so beautiful. It was so nice. The weather was, just chilling, and there were alligators around. But it was beautiful, and the family was very sweet. And I worked with the family for like 2 years and 6 months, around there somewhere. And the whole time, the family like just kept being themselves. They did not change, and I stayed with, like, for me, I believe in, if the family is good the first year you with them, I believe in staying with them instead of having to rematch and going to somewhere else, because you do not know what you're gonna get. That's the thing. Like, a lot of au pairs always complain about having bad experiences with au pairing. I mean, yes, not everyone will have a good experience as I have. Definitely not. You get, oh gosh, there's different types of experiences that you go through as an au pair. You have to be strong when you want to become an au pair. You have to be patient, very patient, whether it's with kids or adults. For me personally, I'm not very patient with adults. I'm very patient with kids. That's what I'm good at. So I would say be patient. Au pairing is not for everyone. Au pairing is not for the weak hearted. Like, there's a lot to do. Sometimes you, you get au pairs that actually work the whole 45 hours and they're exhausted. It almost feels like the parents are not even there for their kids. It's always like, oh my gosh, why am I working 45 hours when the parents are around? So yeah, and then you get those parents who abuse their power, like, of being having an au pair. Like, they think au pairs are maids, and yeah, it's not always like that though. I want to say the pros and cons of being an au pair. The pros are that you are going to a different country without having to pay a lot. I mean, like, yes, you do pay, like, you do have to have a lot of money. Like, I want to say 20,000 rand is maximum you can have to start the au pairing journey, but that's not as much as you would need to do anything else when it comes to traveling. That's my thing. To be an au pair is a cheap way to travel, so that's a pro. And go to a different country, experience new cultures. Um, it I want to say being an au pair is almost like almost like being a stay-at-home mom, depending on the people that you are working with and the kids you're watching, of course. Sometimes it's like sometimes like oh, and then um, another pro of being an au pair is that you get to travel around the world and travel around the country itself. Sometimes you get a family that will take you on vacations, and like you are part of a different family, experiencing being around a new place, new people, new environment. So yeah, like there's a lot of good in being an au pair, and then there's a lot of bad as well in being an au pair. So the cons of being an au pair is that if you're not careful and if you're not vigilant, is that you will find out that people lie a lot on their profiles, whether it's an au pair or a host family. They'll say that they are good at a certain thing, or they'll tell you to expect a certain something, and then you get there and zero of that. Like a lot of au pairs always complain about how their families talk about, yeah, you'll be allowed to drive and you'll have access to the car, and then they get there and then the family is like, no, you're not allowed to drive my car. I'm afraid that you're gonna crash it. Like, excuse you, I matched with you because like part of me matching with you was because I'd be driving. So now I'm not gonna be driving. Yeah, it does not make sense. So yeah, that's one of the cons, is that you can be lied to. And then another con is that you get families that are very abusive of power, of their power, and they look down on you as an au pair. So what I usually say is that get into rematch. A lot of au pairs are afraid of going into rematch, thinking that it's going to be difficult to get a new family. So what I usually suggest is that when it comes to that, like rematching, don't talk to the family first. Talk to the higher ups, even your LCC. Some like, I'm not saying LCCs are bad, but sometimes they usually take the side of the family more because they're usually friends with the family or something. So I would say talk to the higher ups first, and then explain your situation, why you want to rematch, and then take it from there. And another con is that you have to look at where you're gonna be staying. A lot of au pairs always complain about staying in basements and having to hear footsteps every morning without consideration of like someone is under there, because the families will be making noise, especially on a weekend. Weekend is your time, so you expect to be like nice quiet time, and then you just hear so yeah, that's another thing, is that don't be desperate to be in USA so much that you just go into a place that you're not going to be comfortable in the end. Make sure that you're going to a place that has your expectations, kind of thing. I mean, not all your expectations, but I mean, like, don't put your expectations high, of course, but don't put your hopes too high when it comes to everything. And then I would say I would highly advise people to, like, during the interview with the family, make sure that you ask them a lot of questions, a lot of questions, so you know what you're getting yourself into. Some people, some families will be kind of, you can see when someone is lying sometimes. You can see when someone is dishonest with you sometimes, or whatever. Whenever there's a pause, or like, I mean, you can do a research on how to see if someone is lying on an interview, especially when it comes to simple questions. So yeah, um, yeah. So that's that. I finished my year of au pairing in February, and then I moved out because they got a new au pair at the time, and I was getting married. Woohoo! So But I'm still in contact with the family a bit now. They live very close to where I do. I should be more in contact with them than I am actually. But I am planning to go see them to drop off their Christmas present because I got them a little something since they were there on my wedding and the dad walked me down the aisle. Very sweet. That's the thing. I was very lucky when it comes to host families. I got the best host families that anyone could ever ask for. I never complained, and I usually find it weird that a lot of au pairs complain so much, especially about the pay and the hours. Because, I mean, in a way, that's what you signed up for. So when you apply to be an au pair, be ready to work, be ready to get paid the minimum, like minimum. So yeah, don't expect too much. It is fun, it's a great experience. I'm not gonna say don't do it, no, but don't expect too much. That's all I'm asking you. So yes, if you have any questions at all, please comment in my comment section and I will answer as much as possible. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye. I will leave a list of au pair agencies below and then you can go through them, see what you like. I'll try and find out prices for the registration fee for each and every one of them, and then yes, bye.